Back in the late 1970s, SAF Lithgow invited Brian Labutter and myself to catalogue the contents of the backroom collection. Many items were spare parts, along with some accessories. However, we noticed a few 303 pattern 1914 rifles that had been stripped to bare barrelled actions. The blued metal finish had been removed in areas where scope bases would be fitted for the T sniper conversions, in fitting the front and rear mounts. In the British system, only Winchester-made pattern 1914 Mark I Star F rifles were converted to the T sniper model and fitted with the pattern 1918 PPCO or Periscopic Prism Company telescopic sight. The P14F variant had a fine vertical adjustment rear sight leaf. Only Winchesters were so fitted, reportedly for service competition shooting and sniper training. The 1918 contract was for 2,000 P14T sniper rifles converted by the Periscopic Prism Company of Kentish Town, North London. After the war ended, another 79 P14 sniper rifles for Ireland were converted by BSA in the late 1930s. These scopes bear the three-piled rifle's BSA trademark on the tube. However, it is not known if the telescopic sights were drawn from stores or if they were new manufacture. Considerable quantities of the pattern 1914 rifles were sent to Australia after the end of World War I, likely in exchange for the thousands of 303 SMLE rifles shipped to England early in the Great War. These were a mixture of Winchester, Remington and Eddystone upgrades to Mark I Star. Given that Britain only had 2,000 T-pattern P14 sniper conversions, it is logical that none of these would have been available to be sent to Australia in the late 1930s. During the Second World War, we see pattern 1914 sniper rifles in use with independent companies, later designated Commando, such as in Damien Parra's Men of Timor news film on Sparrow Force in Timor. Telescope-mounted rifles were also issued to designated marksmen in some regular infantry units. Decades ago, Brian had seen a Remington pattern 1914 converted to T sniper model. However, it was considered to be a fake, as we only knew of the regulation British conversions at the time. Recently, a Winchester P14T was recorded in a Country New South Wales collection with unusual stamps on the right rear sight protector wings, with no W serial prefix, as is usual on the British conversions. A few other features were also different to the original British conversions. Examination of other Australian-issue P14 or No.3 T rifles reveals stamp and scope anomalies that differ from their British counterparts. From the stamp numbers observed to date, it appears that Lithgow converted at least 300 of the 303 No.3 Mark I Star T sniper rifles. An AOC, that is the Australian Optical Company Victoria, telescope, or the original British 1918 PPCO scope could be fitted. The AOC pattern 1918 sight, made in Australia, has a Crystal X disc with photo-etched reticule. Serial numbers were transcribed from the action body, where it was hidden by the front telescope mount. On the British conversions, these include the W Winchester prefix, as originally marked on the front of the body. However, the Australian issues were marked differently, stamped rather than engraved, with a 1, 2 or 3-digit number before the rifle serial number, without any W prefix. These were obviously not British conversions. Good reference books and PAMs are indispensable for any serious collector or researcher. All too often, internet searches are fruitless, or the posts on forums are ill-conceived, off-the-cuff opinions without any substance or real knowledge. Given our decades earlier examination of Lithgow's backroom parts store, Brian suggested that P14 snipers were converted in Australia. This led to a closer examination of the scopes and markings on the Australian World War II issue P14 sniper rifles. Pre-1926 stamps have a broad arrow inside the D as the Australian ownership mark, while post-1926 it was D arrow D. This assists in dating the origin of small arms Australian ownership, particularly with rifles and bayonets. On some of the later Australian issue rifles, a mix and match of Remington or even Eddystone parts has also been noted, such as the locking bolt or safety catch. Note that many of the Lithgow conversions do not have the fine adjustment rear sight fitted. A wartime news clip of Australian soldiers in Borneo shows a sniper with his P14T with the fore-end cut short and the front band with bayonet and stud removed. It was sporterised. Such a rifle in a private country Queensland collection many years ago had the local purist suggest to the owner he should replace the cut-down fore-end with a full-length original. So the sporterised wood was discarded, unfortunately. All too often, some collectors replace parts considered to be recent post-surplus. However, this can be inconsistent with the provenance of that particular rifle. I often wondered why a Great War vintage telescope was fitted to Australian No.1 Mk I Star HT rifles, that's the SMLE sniper produced at Lithgow, when there were generations of more up-to-date sights available. The Patton 1918 sight was originally produced by the Australian Optical Company in Victoria for the No.3 or P14 conversions. However, as P14 parts were not readily available from EME depots or unit armourers to service the sniper rifles, it was considered a second-class arm. We consider that with the availability of Heavy Barrel Rifle Club SMLEs surrendered or donated at the beginning of the war, it was a logical option to upgrade these to sniper models by fitting the Australian-made Patton 1918 telescope, hence the Lithgow HT No.1 Mk I Star sniper rifle at the end of the war.